What's up? What's up? Welcome to another market recap. Today is November 10th, 2025. So no trades for me last night. I had mainly the same thing on watch last night that I'm going to have on watch tonight, which is yen pairs. And then I had a CAD Swiss and some other kind of oddball like Aussie dollar on watch last night. None of them really pulled back. Everything just kind of kept running. So CAD yen is really the main pair I was looking for yesterday. At the time of the watch, I was looking for this kind of CBO, and it just kept running. So still kind of waiting for that potential CBO. But essentially, on your 1 hour time frame, kind of have a double bottom, break a trend, so higher high, looking for a higher low off of the 50 EMA. 200 EMA, which will line up as well with our 4 hour 50. So 4 hour time frame will be an ATC, so a trend continuation. 1 hour is a CBO, and 15-minute time frame will be a ACB likely. And it's shaping up currently to be an ACB if it just continues falling from here to that 15-minute 200. I guess another change I made starting the beginning of this week is I'm used to using on my right side of my setup here, it was the 10-minute, 2-minute, and 30-second. I've changed that to 15-minute, 3-minute, and 45-second. I've been paying attention to like the 10-minute, 15-minute. I've been flipping back and forth a lot of them for probably about a month or so now, kind of paying attention. And it's seeming to me that the 15-minute time frame lines up better for the kind of the 3 time frame strategy alignment I like to have. So if it's a true ACB if it's a CBO, for example, I'm a 1 hour time frame, so it's a complete break of both the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA on the 1 hour. Then on the 15-minute, it should be an ACB. So it should look like what it currently is, and has a little breakdown, has a little pullback, has another strong follow through, and then pretty much stall at the 15-minute 200 EMA, which should line up with your 1 hour 50 EMA, right? So fractals essentially is what I'm getting at. So for these to line up a little better, I want my fractals to essentially be in increments of 4. So 4 hour to the 1 hour. So there's, 4 1 hour candles in one 4 hour candle. And then 1 hour to the 15-minute. So there's 4 15-minute candles in a 1 hour candle. And then the 15-minute to the 3-minute. Now this is where it kind of gets a little weird because there's not really like a point, like a 3-point whatever. So I think 3-minute fits the best. 2-minute, I think it's a little too high. 5-minute, I think is too high. Is too low. Because it only gives you, 3 5-minute candles and one 15-minute candle. So I'm going to test out the 3-minute time frame. I've never really used it before. I've only ever used the 5-minute or the 2-minute time frames for this kind of middle time frame. But I like how it fits well within the fractal that I'm trying to get at, of increments of 4. And then 45 seconds goes into 3 minutes 4 times. So, yeah, that's essentially it. So I'm going to give this a shot for probably about the next month or so through November and see how I like it. And maybe it's something I'll commit to for the long term, or maybe I'll just go back to using the 10-minute, the 2-minute, and the 30-second like I always have. But what I was finding a lot is that this 15-minute time frame, which was the 10-minute time frame, right? If I flip it to the 10-minute, you can see like the 200 EMA on the 10-minute is up here versus the 15-minute time frame, and it aligns with S1 in this case. And what was happening a lot is on the 10-minute time frame, price would give the ACB, but it'd break this 10-minute EMA, which would almost invalidate the trade a little bit from the ACB standards, right? Like the ACB needs to hold that 200. So it would break it, but then it would kind of reverse from there. And all these examples where I saw this happen, I would flip to the 15 and I'd be like, oh, okay. So it's not respecting the 10-minute 200, but it's respecting the 15-minute 200. And that's probably because the 15-minute 200 lines up almost identically with your 1 hour 50. So it's a better representation of that 1 hour 50 on this kind of time frame. So hence why I decided to make a switch. Anyways, continuing on with this watch list. Cadian's the main trade I'm kind of looking for tonight. Obviously, it needs to still have a pullback and develop some more. Aussie yen is another kind of shot at this yen weakness bias, right? But again, it needs a pullback. But this is almost kind of forming a double top now, which is a little not as great, but similar price action, break higher high, looking for a lower low to form around the EMAs and get a nice solid rejection. Swiss yen, again, same as the other two setups. CBO 1 hour, ATC 4 hour, ACB on your 15 minute. Then I also have pound yen and euro yen here. They're options. They were on watch yesterday as well, but I don't think they're as nice as these other three. So I've kind of deflagged them. I have them still sitting here just to monitor and see if they develop nicer than these top three. But ultimately, if CAD yen end up pulling back, then these trades will be irrelevant. If the yens end up pulling back, then CAD yen's going to be in value, and that's the trade I'd like to take anyways. I have a random dollar Mexican kind of on watch. I had this on watch yesterday, continued to run. So it's not as nice to me today that it was yesterday, but I think it's still an option, hence why I've left it flagged here. I would need to kind of update. No, this position size is fine, I guess. But it's kind of turning into like a daily ATC, a 4 hour CBO. And so it's likely going to be a 1 hour ACB if it pulls back. So it'll just really depend what this looks like when it pulls back to value, because the daily time frame still looks like it's in need or about to kind of like reverse to continue in a correction to the upside. But I could see a slight pullback, which would line up with your 4 hour and 1 hour EMAs, and then a follow through back down the previous lows, which is after where our target is anyways. So there's plenty of room to move to our target if price does pull back and we get some deceleration. And then I have a CAD group. So dollar CAD is really the other primary I have for this kind of upcoming session. I had it on watch yesterday. And honestly, it's kind of developed a little bit nicer come today. It was a little shallow yesterday, but today it's, had a nice little break and kind of developed sideways. The only thing I don't like is this kind of 15-minute double bottom right here. Again, you can see it here on your 3-minute time frame, like this kind of double bottom. So I want to see some nice kind of rejection of the 15-minute 200, kind of the R1 area, which lines up with 0.382 fib, as well as your 1 hour 50 and 200 and your 4 hour 50. So there's a lot of stuff in that general area right there that price should reject. So if we get a valid rejection there, I'll look to be taking this short. And my target is roughly the daily 50. So daily 50, 4 hour 200. And then I also have Euro CAD, similar kind of vibe to dollar CAD. I think dollar CAD is cleaner than this, but it's still an option. So I'll watch it, see what happens. And then as far as development watch goes, I have a lot of Kiwi pairs on watch. So I have an Aussie Kiwi that we've been talking about for a couple of weeks now. It's just running and running. So eventually this will need a pullback. There's Euro Kiwi, not super nice anymore, but still worth watching with the rest of the Kiwis. Pound Kiwi, kind of the same. Kiwi dollar is interesting. I wish we would have gotten a little bit of a better of a break today, and I would have entertained kind of an IBO on this. But it kind of gave a minor IBO in the middle of the day today. But I still think this needs to develop some. I'm kind of more interested in taking the CBO on the 1 hour time frame on this when it breaks that 200 EMA. And then there's Kiwi CAD sitting at these kind of previous daily lows. So very interesting level. Prices decelerated nicely here. So it could potentially retest the bottoms again and then have a breakout, or it could break out from here. But likely an IBO coming up at some point on this that I'll be looking for. Kiwi Swiss, I would prefer for this pair to kind of retest these lows a second time. On like a double bottom of these lows, I'd entertain an ABO. Just because the daily time frame is in a double bottom right now. So that would just kind of give us a 1 hour double bottom as well. And as well as like a 4 hour double bottom. So just waiting for a little bit more development. Probably actually need to put an alert down there. And then Kiwi Yen, kind of same, just waiting for a breakout here to kind of play a CBO-esque. Similar to these other yens is that this yen has obviously resistance here. So, and then for like, I have some weekly setups. If I swap it over time frames here, I have dollar NOK as a potential weekly setup. It's a kind of a 4-hour ACB, a daily IBO. So I don't know. It's something. It's just not the cleanest. Dollar Swiss is really what I'm kind of more interested in. It's a daily IBO. It'd be a 4-hour ACB, but it does need to push down quite a bit more to that daily 50, 4-hour 200 area. But a potential long off that level. And then dollar PLN is already kind of at value for a potential long. But I don't know if it's something I'm going to take. If I'm going to take a swing trade, like I want it to be really clean and have kind of like a 3 time frame alignment. But most of these kind of swing trades don't. They only have like a 2 time frame, like your daily and your 4-hour. But the 1-hour time frame doesn't really have anything. So, but it's something. Anyways, mainly looking for CAD, yen, dollar, and dollar CAD this upcoming session. And that's all I got. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. See you.